What's up, traders? Eric here from MajorLeagueTrading.com. And markets just closed here a couple minutes after 4. And so obviously futures are still open for a couple minutes here. But what a weird day. So this week for me, obviously, so far has been extremely boring and slow and patience testing. The camera looked like it was moving. So, but with that being said, just looking across the board right now, one of the things that comes to mind for me, which I put in the morning write-up yesterday too, is knowing when to hold them, knowing when to fold them. And right now is definitely one of those times where it's like, yes, there are some trades available here. We see S&Ps. We managed to get a pretty decent rally back. Total range of the day, 24 3/4 points, out of the S&Ps. In the NASDAQ here, we had that 955.75 level right there. You can see we did come down, push a little bit through morning lows, and then come right back up here towards opening print. And then when we look at something like the Russell here, Russell had a pretty decent move today. It was up 1.35%. Actually, a pretty nice little gap up there. Tagged that 2056.90. We were looking at that level from yesterday. It basically stayed, wrapped right around that level, give or take 3 or 4 points one way or the other, for the entire day. So it's like we got one market here, which, as we just now see, is like 1.35% on the day for the Russell. And then at the same time, when we look at something like the Dow, we're actually down 0.30% on the day, and the Dow is relatively weak all day, and it just kind of like slowly clawed its way back here since about 1 o'clock, just to get like an 80-point rally, 100-point rally, and still managed to close down on the day. So it's a really interesting time here, and I think weird is maybe one of the words, where, we had a really nice week last week, and there was a nice trend. We had the NVIDIA earnings. We had all of these things coming into play. But that phrase that I mentioned, knowing when to hold them, knowing when to fold them, this is one of those weeks where it's like, and I may be speaking to you specifically on this one, is like, you might have got wrecked already, and it's only Tuesday. And if we can avoid those types of things by not taking trades just because, hey, we are traders and it's our job to click the button and we're supposed to be doing these things. But when you really sit back and you go back and look through it and you go like, hey, I had a good week last week, and most of you, some of you, perhaps this is you, probably ruined that so far by Tuesday, right? So today was a pretty decent little day for me. I managed to catch about 6.5 points out of the Russell. With nothing happening from yesterday to a small 6.5 point winner to today, I'm slowly starting to kind of build on last week's, and I would be completely fine having not taken a trade today. And that's kind of my point to this, is like, had you not taken a trade yesterday or today, if this pertains to you and you did get a little bit smacked here, and you look at that over the long haul, and it's like, there's another, we're in February here, there's another 200 trading days this year. If you missed 1 or 2 because the setups weren't necessarily there, it's like less than 1% of what is left on the year. But if that 1 or 2 days wiped out your week or your month, right? We're coming into the end of February here, which is important, right? Like that just messes with you mentally and just on all different fronts, right? So that's really where I want to be with this video. I don't have anything to say about these markets per se, outside of I'm just treading super lightly here. I don't like what I'm seeing out of the indices specifically. At the same time, when we look at names that probably should have seen some sort of move, Tesla gets a nice gap up here at 204s and then kind of fades on the day, right? And that probably trapped a lot of people from a long perspective. Like, hey, everybody's been waiting for this 200 break, if you will, in Tesla. And we get the gap up, and people jump in on that, I'm sure. And then it ends up, being a flop on the day, and probably not the greatest if you try trading Tesla to the long side, right? At the same time, you go to something like PANW, this was kind of the same picture, and it gets a first initial move, which is pretty decent, and then fades the rest of the day while the NASDAQ managed to put in lows and kind of rally back to the opening print. So it's super, super weird action all the way across the board. And then Apple here with, some random news that comes out. Again, I don't necessarily care about the news or whatever. That gives it a nice $4 pop there in less than an hour. So, and it's been which is weird to say in general as well, which is kind of the word of this whole video. But Apple's been one of the weaker names on the board. And then all of a sudden out of the blue, it gets a random $4 pop here on the day. So overall, be cautious in this current environment that we're in. We do have some earnings names coming up later this week. So I think we will start to see some opportunity. We do have some news coming out tomorrow morning, I believe at 8:30. So we do have some things coming up that should hopefully start to kind of shake these markets up a bit, get these charts moving outside of the Russell. If that gaps up tomorrow like 2089s, which would be the next target to the upside, then I'll probably just take the rest of the week off here. But yeah, I just want to leave you guys with that quick little note and kind of think through some of those things and don't allow yourself to get too frustrated here with these markets. And for those of you that there are definitely some trades to be had, I missed a couple of them today. For those of you that are catching those good trades, just keep doing the same thing in which you're doing. Don't elevate yourself, get too inflated in terms of thinking that you can do no wrong, because when you do reach that point, that's when the market is going to smack you. So that's what I got in tonight's free video. Take care, hope it helps, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.